Alright, in this video I'm going to tell you why lobsters are very similar to you and you don't even know it. But before I do that, I gotta set the scene a little bit. So I was in London during Christmas, and I was at this Airbnb, this beautiful, amazing Airbnb at the heart of London. And it was a really cozy place, and I spent my time there with my family during the Christmas holidays. But I realized that the landowner of this place was actually a psychologist, and he had this amazing set of books set up for people who come into this Airbnb to just check out and just spend their time reading. So I was given access to this amazing bookshelf. So I took the liberty of reading some of the books. One book in particular was this book called 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson. Jordan Peterson is a famous psychologist, a Canadian psychologist, very well known for his thoughts and some of the videos that he puts out on social media. So this book is by him, and it was a book that I always wanted to read, but I never got the opportunity, so I took the liberty of reading it during my holiday. So this video is about the first rule of those 12 rules for life by Jordan Peterson, and this video begins with the story of a lobster. See, now we are getting back to the lobster story now. Exciting. See, lobsters live on the ocean floor. Just like any other animal, lobsters hunt for their food and they try to find places to live, and they have a social hierarchy. And you may not think about this because like nobody thinks about lobsters, right? Like we wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we go to work, we come back home. We never take the time to think about lobsters. But there are people who thought about lobsters, scientists who researched about lobsters and who did a lot of studies and found out that the neurochemistry of a lobster and the social hierarchy of a lobster is very similar to that of human beings. And it's interesting because we never really think about lobsters in that sort of way. But it turns out that lobsters have a very similar social hierarchy to human beings. See, lobsters, when they hunt, see, there's a lot of lobsters in the world, right? When they hunt, they tend to run into each other because there's so many lobsters and there's only so many places that lobsters consider safe to live in. So, and most times lobsters run into each other and there's going to be conflicts. So in the human world, the real estate in human world, which is when we see a house, we tend to buy that house and we can own that house. But in the lobster world, there's no currency, therefore they have to fight for what they want. So when they want this safe place where they can gather their food and they can stay safe from other predators, they really have to fight for it because there are other lobsters who own that place. Unfortunately, there's no real estate in the lobster world, so there's an opportunity if you want to really get into it. Don't do that. But anyway, so much like human beings or any other animal, lobsters have their own way of protecting themselves. See, they have huge claws, right? That they can just like do this with. I don't know what this is called, but they have huge claws that they can just move around and attack their predators with. And they also have this way of transmitting or projecting a stream of liquid from under their eyes to their opponent. See, this liquid contains information about the lobster's gender, strength, and age, and things like this. So when two lobsters meet, these lobsters just dance around with their claws up, trying to scare each other away, but they also project these two streams of liquid at each other. Therefore, both lobsters now have a proper idea about like what that other lobster is like what sort of gender, what sort of strength is it. So like sometimes if the strength of this lobster is higher than this lobster tends to back away, giving opportunity to take over this place for this lobster. But sometimes the strength and the gender and all of these dominance frequencies of these two lobsters tend to be similar. Therefore, they start fighting. They get into a conflict. They get into a hardcore fight where they just attack with each other's claws and stuff like that. But what's interesting is that scientists have found that lobsters, the winning lobsters, tend to have a different neurochemistry to that of loser lobsters. And it's very crazy. This is the most interesting part about this video. See, a loser's neurochemistry changes when they lose. A lobster's neurochemistry changes when they lose. So when a lobster loses a fight, their neurochemistry, the way their brain works, the way their mind works, the way the mentality basically pretty much changes to adapt their new low-level social hierarchy, which means the winner lobster tends to have a sort of like develops a winning mentality, and this is all because of two chemicals in their brains, and this is because of two chemicals that facilitate the communication of their neurons, and this is serotonin and octopamine. See, a winning lobster tends to have, and scientists have found this, then winning lobster has high levels of serotonin, lower levels of octopamine. Whereas, I'll explain what these are. Whereas the neurochemistry of a loser lobster has like high levels of octopamine, low levels of serotonin. And this is crazy because like what these two neurochemicals do is that it changes the posture of a lobster. So a lobster with high levels of serotonin, lower levels of octopamine tends to be like more open. They're closed wide open, and they tend to more frequently aggressively walk into battles, whereas a lobster with high levels of octopamine, low levels of serotonin tend to back away from fights, because like it changes their posture to be like more closed and like scared and like under their shell and stuff like that. So this is very similar to human beings apparently. See, the best example is a veteran coming home from war. A veteran who has faced a lot of trauma at war and things like this, they tend to cringe at the thought of war. They tend to cringe at like different memories they have from war as soon as they hear the word war, things like this. This is why post-traumatic disorders and distress exists, because like they go through a huge amount of trauma and now they can't face it anymore, or it takes time to get over it. And this another example is a person who has been through a very traumatic relationship, a romance relationship, who had a really good relationship but it breaks, and now they tend to like cringe and they back away from new relationship, new opportunity, new people, because like they don't want to face it again. They cringe at it. They are scared of new opportunities, new relations, new experiences. Whereas a person who has a streak of winning tends to have a different neurochemistry. Now, this is very similar to human beings, apparently. A person who wins a lot, especially in sports, tend to walk into new matches and things like this, especially in cricket and any sports, honestly. You might have seen this. In any sport, there are all-star players who have been playing really well, like consecutively, non-stop, and as soon as they lose one match, they're sort of like whole act goes down. And this is all because of the way we think and the neurochemistry of our brains. See, when we win a lot, serotonin levels go up and octopamine goes down, and our posture changes, our attitude changes. We like walk in with much more confidence. Have you ever been in a situation where a person walks into a room and you're magnetized by them? You see the energy and you're like, I want to be that person's friend. That person is just like radiating with energy. I just radiated my energy to like drop my glass. Anyway, they are radiating with energy, and you're just magnetized by it. You're attracted. You just want to be their friends. It's because naturally human beings and most animals have a social dominance hierarchy. We are always attracted to the people who are successful. And even in the lobster world, once there's a dominant lobster who wins a lot of fights and they're considered the top dog, the females are attracted to this lobster. Scientists have found that the female lobsters tend to be attracted to the high-level top dog lobsters who win a lot of fights to procreate, to reproduce, to create new lobster babies. So naturally, human beings and animals are attracted to the top dogs, the people who win a lot, because you want to be around them, because you're safe around them. You know that they're gonna win, therefore you want to be on their party. You want to be on their teams. That's why there's a lot of okay, this is a little controversial, but this is why politicians tend to jump from one party to another, because they want power. They want power just as much as the next guy. That's why they always jump to the team that's winning, because they want to be part of that. They want to have power. And this is very similar to the lobster world. And people, just lobsters want to be around lobsters that win a lot. That's why they have their tribes. Even in the world of wolves, wolf packs are created, and there's an alpha who dominates this whole pack, and they move around in packs. And wolves always want to be a part of the pack that has a very dominant wolf leading them, because they know that together they will hunt more. They will find the best kinds of food, and like they'll be safe pretty much. This dominance hierarchy applies to most animals in this world, including human beings as well as lobsters. So the lesson that I learned from this rule is to stand up straight with your shoulders back. The first rule of Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life is stand up straight with your shoulders back, which means when you project that sort of winning attitude, you tend to attract the right opportunities to you, the right people. You tend to place yourself strategically on the chessboard. When you walk into a room with ultra confidence, you walk around like you own the place, not with like a cocky attitude, but like you project confidence and you project that ability to get something done, and you surround yourself with champions. You tend to send that energy out into the world, and you tend to get the attention of certain people and certain opportunities. When you walk around doing this, hiding yourself, or like looking down, or not having confidence to look people in the eye, and you just like don't really care too much about opportunities, you want them but you just don't know how to attract them, you don't tend to be visible to opportunities and people. But when you're that person who walks into a room with ultra amounts of confidence, you walk around with preparation, and you tend to run into more opportunities. That's why there's a certain percentage, that's why there's a small percentage of authors always getting the best-selling novels. Have you noticed that? There's a tiny percentage of artists who always create the best music. They dominate it. There's a certain group, this tiny group that always dominates every industry. Musicians, tiny amount of musicians always produce the most viral songs. Tiny amounts of authors always produce the best sellers. And that's because of the dominance hierarchy. You establish yourself as a winner, and you've created this credential, you created this reputation as a winning author, as a viral top-selling musician, and you create that dominance in the hierarchy. You tend to go up and up. That's why rich people keep getting richer and poor people just keep getting poorer. It's a mentality, and anyone can switch their mentality. That's the craziest part. That's the whole gist of this chapter, is that anyone can change the social hierarchy just by changing the way they think, the way they project their energy. It's crazy. And this chapter has been life-changing for me. Since I read it, I was like, I'm blown away, Jordan Peterson. This is an incredible lesson, and I really wanted to share this with you guys. It's incredible. If you haven't checked out the book, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's a really amazing book. You really got to check it out. There's 11 more rules that I need to get through, and I'm going to create videos for every single one of them as summarizing it. And this is not sort of a summary. It's already 13 minutes, so that's crazy. I'm sorry if this video was too long, but the dominance hierarchy is a real thing, guys. The way you project yourself, the way you present yourself changes the way opportunities are placed in your life. You walk into an interview with extreme levels of confidence, you are more likely to get the job. And there's a fine line, just so you know, before ending this video, there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. The one thing that's different between a cocky person and a confident person is preparation. If you can back it up, that's not cockiness, that's preparation, that's confidence, that's real confidence. So make sure that you're confident in whatever that you're doing. If you're working on a new skill, make sure that you're highly prepared, you're very experienced in it, therefore you can project that energy, project that confidence, and you will tend to attract more opportunities in life. So if you're new here, my name is Zinukajay. I create a lot of content surrounding positivity, self-growth, and happiness. If that resonates with you in any way, consider following me on Instagram as well as subscribing on YouTube. I post videos and content on a daily schedule, so I want to fill your news feed with a lot of positivity. If there's anything that you would like to add to this topic, please add it in the comment section below and share it with the rest of us. We'd love to learn. We're always here to learn, and I'm always looking forward to hearing from you guys. So I always try to create communication between you guys in the DMs and try to communicate, try to learn from you. That's very important. So make sure that you share with the rest of us in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna get back to work. Keep smiling, keep growing. It's Zinukajay, over and out.